Come in. Martin, my friend Martin Guitar, he and I were just talking about beauty, various kinds of beauty. And actually, this is this is a sequel, the third in a series about, if you've been around a couple of weeks ago, you would have heard this last week. And this one concerns beauty. You heard the saying that life is a grinding wheel, and whether it wears us down or polishes us up depends on what we're made of. Somehow from that we went into beauty, and Martin thought of Joe Cocker's beautiful song of years ago. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. Well, the combination of this idea of beauty. I want to tell you a story. A young woman named Caroline. She was beautiful. Slim and handsome young woman. Also quite well-to-do. She lived on her father's farm, but he was a good farmer and provided a good living for them. They had a very nice home, and they dined with fine china and things like that. She married the love of her life, and everything was beautiful. Outside beautiful. How about inside beautiful? You really can't know about that until life wears on you. They got married, wonderful marriage, but the first child died. 17 years later, her husband died, leaving her with 6 children to care for and to provide for. Not too long after that, her sister died. 6 hours after she gave birth to a little baby boy. Carolyn took that baby into her own home and raised him as her own child. Well, the father, who would have been her brother-in-law, came to see the baby. They named him Weston, and they called him Pete. See how Pete was doing, and so he came in, they became friends, and this widow and this widower, appropriately, got married, combined their families, and now Caroline was the mother of 14 children. Her mother died not long after. Her beautiful daughter, 18 years old, with a voice so lovely that an opera company in New York was very interested in her, but instead she married the love of her life, and then she died. And the beautiful voice was heard no longer. And the voice of the little baby developing within her was never heard. Carolyn's mother died. So many losses kind of broke Carolyn's spirit, had her health. She got diabetes. And for the rest of her life, her meals consisted of carefully chosen foods in carefully small amounts, measured and weighed out, and 3 times a day of shots of insulin to keep her going. That was her life. Well, another man came along. This is after her brother-in-law, husband, he died. didn't just die. He was a farmer. He got involved in some chemicals. Somehow it acted on his body, and his flesh fell off his bones, rotted away, his inside. Horrible thing. In a week, he was dead. Carolyn carried on. Their home, according to all accounts, from the neighbors and her friends, was a happy home. It had a wonderful spirit to it. Children, after they were grown, said, "We never felt poor. We never felt disadvantaged. We were very blessed." That's the mother. That's Caroline. How does she provide? Well, to that in a minute. I have one more. Another gentleman knocked at the door. He wanted to court Caroline and to marry her, and he wanted to help take care of her. And so she did. And, a few weeks later he had a stroke, was mostly paralyzed. She took care of him instead of vice versa. She fed him and bathed him and clothed him and took care of him for 5 years, and then he died. Caroline soldiered on. She survived the Great Depression. She survived with self-reliance, this widow lady. When the well broke and went dry, she turned down the government money that would have been available to her and instead got her sons with buckets to bring in water from the neighbor's place for the family and for the 1,000 chickens they had. 1,000 chickens. That's how she paid the bills, selling eggs from these 1,000 chickens. The chickens loved Caroline, and she loved most of them. And she liked the rest of them. She loved the ones who laid eggs, and the ones who did not lay eggs, she liked them. She especially liked them for Sunday dinner, so the story goes. Everybody in that family had to contribute one way or another. In the midst of all this, she was called to be the Relief Society president for their ward, which was 12 miles square, a good-sized little town. These were all farms. And so for 18 years, she went around with her buggy, caring, nurturing, providing for families with problems. Right? What a woman. In 1940, she went for a walk, a usual walk with one of her daughters, came home and said, "I'm going to lie down for a moment." And that's what she did. She lay down, and in a moment, she was gone. She never would have wanted fame and glory, but her name is known throughout the world because little Pete, the baby, grew up to be a restaurateur and then became the father of Kentucky Fried Chicken. What could be more appropriate than Carolyn of the 1,000 Chickens should be remembered for this? Remembered because Pete prospered so well with Kentucky Fried Chicken that he was able to give to charities and to help other people do lots of wonderful things. One of the greatest for him was when he helped to build a beautiful building that houses an organization that blesses the lives through education of people throughout the world, every state and many countries. The Brigham Young University Division of Continuing Education. It's a beautiful glass building. And on that building, carved into a marker, and on the correspondence, hundreds of thousands, the name of Caroline Hemingway Harmon goes out to the world. This great woman. Aunt Carrie, as Pete knew her, and as much of the community knew her. Now, when life, the grinding wheel of life, operated on Caroline Harmon, she just got more and more beautiful. It buffed her into eternal beauty. You are so beautiful to me. Eternally beautiful.